Hey Yasmin, my name is Mohammed and I run the blog called Dental School Coach where I help pre-dental students get into their dream dental school. First of all, I'm thrilled to be here and look at your personal statement. It's amazing and with a bit of work, I think you can make it a great personal statement. So without further ado, let me jump right in and give you some feedback that you can work on. First of all, the way you had your career aptitude test, it was coming across as a bit dry, so I changed the introduction a bit. I kept everything that you had in there, just tweaked and gave you an alternative version of your introduction. Look at it, see if something that if this is something that you can work with, or if you think you want to improve on it. Look at it first and read that carefully and compare with what you had. Made it a bit more dramatic and more colorful, like it is supposed to be in a personal statement. Going forward, I mentioned, you mentioned about your shadowing experiences at during high school, and I kept it the same. I did not change many things except that I made a bit more descriptive. I made it more descriptive for Maria. I mentioned that she's a 65-year-old Mexican immigrant who needed a filling done. It might not be true, might be true. Just change it with whatever is the truth. So the reason that I made that distinction was, if you just say, I'm just serving an elderly woman, it doesn't seem as specific as when you talk about, I suctioned, gave words of encouragement, and got to know bits about a few local New Mexicans' lives, in particular about Maria, a 65-year-old Mexican immigrant who needed a filling done. And then it's much different from what you had previously. I think you had. Excuse me, it's not where it is. You had, one patient's story will forever stand out in my mind. She was an elderly woman named Maria and needed a filling done, something like that. And that doesn't sound as colorful as when you talk about, I suctioned, gave words of encouragement, and got to know bits about a few local New Mexicans' life, in particular about Maria, blah blah. It's more specific, much more direct, and it transitions into the story right away. Anyways, at the end, I had a suggestions where I wanted to end this paragraph with a bit more with a bit difference than what you had. You said when we finished, she thanked each of us. She thanked each of us individually and whatnot, and then I wanted you to write something that would be more appropriate to appropriate transition to the next paragraph. I think what you had was, I've never been touched by a person's gratitude. Her cavity was such a simple problem to address. And my comment was, this is great, but you need a sentence at the end to describe how this is really this is really drawing you into dentistry. So you can mention something like, the patient's gratitude toward just a simple filling, which she saw as a privilege, drew me further into dentistry. Something like that would be appropriate to mention, because we are still assessing your initial stage of shadowing and initial stage of finding out if dentistry is right for you. Going forward, I know this paragraph, I'm gonna be a bit harsh in this paragraph, but it's for your good. This paragraph does not make much sense to me given the whole statement. So could you explain what is the purpose of this paragraph? If you can understand what the paragraph is saying in context of the whole essay, and also what is it doing, what purpose is it serving, with respect to the whole essay, you will find out that it's a bit odd and off. Like mentioning that you did a SMDEP program and made lifelong friend. How does that help an AdCom understand you from a personal perspective? Isn't it like saying that, oh, I went to college and I made friends, or something like, oh, I breathe oxygen? This is super obvious. Why do you have to mention that, and what purpose does it serve in your personal statement? Go forward. The way that you mentioned the story about horse riding and Linda was amazing. I loved the structure of the story. It's a really good story, and it has a lot of things that you can do with it. But there is a bit more tweak that you need to do in your writing style. Let's say when you talk about Linda, and at the end you say my experience with Linda can be applied to dentistry. I mean, isn't that the purpose of writing it? So why wasting real estate and not getting to the point? You are, and then this paragraph, I think it's a great paragraph, but I think you have to start it somewhat differently. You said meeting people through my passions has also led to the cultivation of great friendships. My love for horses and riding, which started at an age blank, is a huge part of who I am today. Alright, that's great. But how does it serve me to understand you made friendship at SMDP, and then you're coming to talk about more friendship and not talking about your dental related activities or dental related dental school related skills that you want to talk about? So why don't you you do talk about them in the story, but why don't you mention them in the beginning? Why don't you say dental professions must stay persistent and focus on an end goal, which I learned through my horse riding activities or through working at NMSU Therapeutic Riding Association, something like that. And then you can mention my love for horse riding, which started as an early age, is a huge part of who I am today. And then you can go on and talk about Linda, which would be better than what you have right now. So I'm gonna rephrase this. Dental professions. See if this makes sense to me more. Dental professionals must stay persistent and patient on goal, right? Skills. While working at XYZ place, NMSU. So basically what I'm trying to say is that instead of talking about friendship and focusing on it a bit more, talk about dentistry and then bring that point in. You have a really great point, and you mentioned what are some of the characteristics you learned, the skills you developed through that experience, but you need to flesh it out in the beginning, otherwise they're not going to read forward. The purpose of writing a topic statement or topic sentence is to compel the reader to read the second sentence, and the purpose of the second sentence is to compel the reader to read the third sentence. So you need to make sure the topic sentence is to the point and it mentions something direct about the paragraph, and it does not move away from what you are trying to portray. All right, and going forward, I like your conclusion, but it's not catchy. It's not something that it's not colorful. So you need to work a bit more on your conclusion. And at the end, I just wanted to point out something. I hope one day to leave a permanent mark on my community and as a doctor practicing ethical conservative dentistry. What do you mean by that? Like, this is coming out of nowhere, and at the end of the essay, you're gonna close the loop of what you have been talking about, and also you're gonna make a catchy phrase that connects with the whole essay, and leave the impression that this is a really amazing person and I want to meet her or I want to meet him. This is this conclusion is not doing that yet. So you need to work a bit more and get rid of this sentence because it's not serving any purpose for your essay. Now, few word of wisdom. I have corrected about 75 to 80 personal statements so far, and I've seen a lot of people make the following mistake and that you didn't make. So, for example, they don't talk about their skills that are important to dentistry that you do. They don't also talk about stories. Most people fail to talk about stories in a meaningful way. I think you do that really well. So kudos to you. But here are some of the other things that you're doing that some other people are not doing. And here, this is where you need to improve. Transition is a big part. Make it more colorful and dramatic. It's something that you can work on a bit more. Then going forward, number 3 would be writing a topic statement or topic sentence that will propel you to force the reader to read the second sentence and the third sentence, etc. The statement, the topic statement has to be very clear and very succinct. Right now, you talk about friendship. I don't understand the purpose of talking about friendship within the context of your personal statement. It's something that it's expected of you to make friends in dental school. I don't know why you're talking about it in the statement, but definitely, if you feel it strongly that this should be there. I did the SMDP program, and I want to mention about the SMDP program. Mention that in a way that doesn't that doesn't entail you talking about friendship, because that's not the purpose of the SMDP program. SMDP program, the purpose of it is to expose you to dentistry and make sure that you are prepared enough as a minority student to go into dental school. A lot of the minority students are not prepared enough for dental school when they leave college, or when they're in college they're not well prepared. So by that you can talk about it in a different tone. Let's say I did the SMDP program to enhance my academic credential as well as become more exposed to dental field and healthcare field. Something like that would make it a bit more appropriate to talk about SMDP in the context of your essay, as opposed to talking about diversity and talking about effective communication and empathy. Those are something that are expected of you in dental school. It's like breathing oxygen. Again, I don't take it personally. I'm being a bit harsh because your personal statement should not contain something that does not deserve to be there. Every sentence that is in your personal statement has to earn its way into the personal statement. So with that said, I wish you all the best in your second draft and going forward many more drafts that you're going to be writing. I have a charge associated with it, with a second draft if you want me to correct or edit your second draft and the third draft or fourth draft, whatever it is. So if you go into my website dentalschoolcoach.com, / personal statement review. So go to this website link, and you can get to know me further. And there are some packages that are mentioned. If you wanna work with me further, let me know if this helped you. I would love you to give me feedback on my own work. That will help me get better and serve many more pre-dentals to get into their dream dental school. With that said, I wish you all the best, and if you have any question, shoot me an email at zia@dentalschoolcoach.com. Alright, and wish you all the best again. Take care.